There are many reasons The Flash is bombing so badly at the box office, but I'm going to talk about what I believe to be the three biggest reasons behind this catastrophic failure of a movie. Some people are scratching their heads, saying things like, I honestly don't know why this film is crashing so hard. Well, let me tell you why it's crashing so hard. It's because it's a terrible movie. Most of the people who saw it didn't like it, as is evidenced by the terrible cinema score this movie got. To put that score into context, audiences gave this the worst rating any DCEU movie has received since the theatrical cut of Batman v Superman back in 2016. The word of mouth for this movie is terrible. The second reason is WB's idiotic marketing campaign for this film. Before this film even released, it felt like everyone had seen it because there were so many free screenings for this movie. What was the logic of that? WB, what on earth were you thinking? A lot of those people who went to the free screenings would have been paying customers, but you let them see it for free, hoping that they would be kinder to your movie and spread good word of mouth on social media.
I bought into the hype.
The hype is real.
Well worth the hype.
Believe the hype. The hype is there.
Instead, what happened is that you had a bunch of people leaking clips online of how god-awful your film was, and these clips were online before tickets were even on sale. You actively lost yourselves business and spoiled your film because you wanted some influencers and fans to heap praise on your movie. Maybe you thought that getting ahead of the impending bad reviews with positive fan sentiment would work in your favor. Well, you were wrong. Because there's no way to polish a piece of crap, and trying to shove a piece of crap down everyone's throats while telling them it's a delicious piece of chocolate is going to make us lose trust in you even more. The fact that James Gunn and WB hyped this up to be one of the best comic book movies ever is baffling, and quite honestly, it's a scathing indictment on James Gunn's taste. This isn't something he said once out of obligation to the studio. This is a personal opinion that he repeated whenever he got the opportunity.
He shot, Guardians 3, Suicide Squad, Guardians 2. He shot The Flash, which people are going to see is just one of the greatest movies ever made.
By spouting this opinion every chance they got, they raised everyone's expectations way too high, which probably led to a lot of disappointment. The third major reason is that WB and DC seem to hate their fans. For a movie with so much forced fan service, it didn't service the fans at all in the ways that truly matter. This is a Flash movie. You'd think that they'd cater this film to fans of the character, but no. WB seemingly didn't care about the fans at all, given that they didn't care to include Grant Gustin's Flash in the movie. I don't really like the show myself, but I'm sure many people would have been happy to see the guy who has portrayed the character on screen for the past 9 years to have a cameo in this film. But instead of including the most popular on-screen Flash over the past decade, they decided to include these brain-dead cameos instead. It's baffling. Especially since Ezra Miller's Flash and Grant Gustin's Flash already shared a small moment together in the TV show, and that moment was a huge success among fans. You showed us that it was possible. The fans showed you that they liked it, but you completely disregarded it in favor of a bunch of dead people resurrected with CGI. To the studio, I ask this: who was this film even for? For all the sections of the DC fandom there are, you didn't cater to very many of them. You chose to cater to fans of movies from over 30 years ago. Why didn't you cater to fans of the animated series or to your new animated universe? Why didn't you cater to the fans of the Arrowverse, to the fans of Smallville, or to the fans of Superman and Lois? You had a great chance to get some more eyes on your other media, but you seemingly couldn't be bothered. You probably couldn't cater to fans of the Nolanverse because Chris Nolan probably refused to let you. A, because he has taste, and B, because he doesn't even like you anymore. Heck, you couldn't even throw a bone to the fans of Zack Snyder's DC films because you've seemingly retconned most of his films, which is even more baffling because you use the events of one of his movies as a massive plot point in this one. The whole thing is a confused mess. Your whole universe is a confused mess. You lost all the good faith you had among fans with your blatant disregard of their interests. You might think I'm being harsh, but the director himself has said he had freedom to get anyone he wanted in this movie. The fact that he had all the choice in the world and settled on what we ended up getting is just hilariously pathetic. There are so many other reasons to explain this movie bombing so bad. Ezra Miller's controversies, James Gunn announcing his impending reboot slate, being surrounded by strong competition. Those things played their part for sure, but I don't think they played a big role. Ultimately, the movie was just really bad.